Let's go. Listen, I got a short, quick, powerful message for you. This message is entitled Wisdom for Relationships. Wisdom for Relationships. Now, so oftentimes we think about wisdom in terms of, Lord, give me wisdom for success, or give me wisdom so I can have more money. But oftentimes people don't think that in their relationships with their spouse or the person that they're dating that they need wisdom. You need wisdom because the Bible says, right? Dwell with your spouse, or dwell together with understanding. The person that you living with, you married to, right? You need to understand them. You need to have wisdom and how to navigate a relationship. It can't just be the way, oh, this is the way my mother used to do it, this is the way my father used to do it, or this is the way the people that raised me used to do it. That's how we're gonna do it. If you have that mentality, you are going in and setting yourself up for failure. If you find yourself constantly frustrated in your relationship, right, in particular areas, right? One person's a spender, one person's a saver. One person has bigger dreams, and the other person kind of don't really care too much to achieve or acquire things in life. You may have some problems. In the bedroom, let's be honest, folks. It may not be hitting on all cylinders for you, but you need to have wisdom on how to navigate your relationship. One person may want things more than the other person, but how do you navigate through that to have a healthy, happy, great relationship? You need the wisdom of God concerning your relationship, right? God, give me wisdom, Lord. Touch my mind, give me understanding on how to better manage my woman, my wife, my husband, my man. How do I do this? Okay, so you got to ask God for that wisdom so you can get that understanding, and also get books and read and study. And what you're doing right now is getting information. See, information can, if acted upon, the right information, if acted upon, can change your circumstances. Because oftentimes people are in a relationship and walking blindly into that relationship, or they're deep in the middle of it, but they don't know how to bring joy. They don't know how to bring pleasure. They don't know how to bring happiness to the person that they're with. And like I said before, the Bible says, dwell together with understanding. So you got to study the person that you're with. You got to study what they like, what they dislike, what presses their buttons and makes them happy, what presses their buttons and makes them upset. And you got to, what's their hopes, what's their dreams, what's their desires, what's their wants. And you got to be able to speak into their life. You got to be able to be their best encourager. You got to be able to tap into those areas about them where they may feel vulnerable, and cover them in those areas, right? And not only cover them, strengthen them in those areas. Pray over their weak spots, right? It's one thing for you to find out what they're vulnerable in, or what their fears are, or things that slow them down or they're not so great at, and then for you to discredit them, to downplay them, to speak negatively into their lives, because words are spirit, right? In John chapter 6 verse 63 in the Bible, it says, the words that I speak to you are spirit and they are life, right? Death and life is in the power of the tongue. So you have the ability now to speak life into your spouse, but it takes wisdom. It takes you dwelling together with understanding, right? And instead of you criticizing, man, you never wash the dishes out while your clothes are always on the floor. You know, you should be more ambitious. You should want more out of life, right? Learn how to speak to them, right? Learn when the right moments to speak to them. Some people, as soon as they come from work, they had a bad day, then they want to spew out all the venom. They want to spew it out on their spouse, right? I had a terrible day. Leave me alone. You understand what I'm going through? That's not the right time. It's not the right time. Maybe when you're in a more relaxed state, would you speak about how your work life is affecting you? And don't be like most people who at a job or in a business or whatever, or in school and taking classes, and you absolutely dislike it. I would use the word hate, but that's a strong word. But some of you even feel that way. Don't allow yourself to get to that place where you feel like you hate your job, you hate your career, you hate what you're doing, that you hate it. Because when you get to that point, that is coming out of you into everyone that's around you. And you become a person that people don't want to be around because that venom is coming from you. And so why not get another job? Why not switch your courses? Why not do something different in time, right? You can't always do it right away, especially if you have a family taken care of. But put yourself in, start the process of change. So now, as we're talking about, right, studying the person that you're with, because you have to have wisdom for relationships. Now, if you're a person who lives with a person who sees that they're frustrated every day they go to work, why continue to push them to work in that field? Why continue to push them when they're unhappy? Because you're not using wisdom. Why continue to push them to take those courses when they are unhappy? As opposed to figuring out what's the root of the issue, so then you can get to the fruit of the issue. Right? And say, hey, listen, what is it that would truly make you happy? Now, it's a problem when the person who you're asking what's going to make you happy, they don't even know what's going to make them happy. You say, well, what's going to make you happy? They say, well, I really don't know. Well, we got to start there, because I can't help you be happy if you don't even know what's going to make you happy. Okay? And so when you're in a relationship, it's going to take patience. It's going to take kindness. It's going to take all the fruits of the Spirit. Forgiveness, right? So what we're talking about here is understanding your spouse. What makes them happy? What makes them tick? What's their hopes? What's their dreams? What's their insecurities? And how can you strengthen them in those areas so that they can overcome those obstacles that they're facing? You know, sometimes for men, most men are not great communicators. They don't necessarily like to talk. They'll hold it in. And it's a fact, most men die before women because men hold in emotions. Got to get to the point where men can feel comfortable speaking to you about particular issues without feeling like you're going to beat them over the head with what they coming to you with. Not saying that all women do that, so don't take offense to what I'm saying. But there are some women out there who, you know, they will hold what a man says against them and then use it against them in the future. Right? Right? Don't allow your insecurities, right, to stop you from being who God called you to be. Likewise, men, you see that your woman is having emotional breakdowns. It's not time for you to just get frustrated and say, I can't deal with this. She's up one day, she's down one day. Well, you know, there's a lot of things going on in there, in the estrogen. There's a lot of things going on in there. And what we have to learn how to do is to stay at peace and stay calm and not allow when she goes up and when she goes down for us to go up and go down with her. That's why God gave us testosterone, so we can stay at an even level and let them work through what they're going through and just be of encouragement and of support to help them through those times when their emotions are fluctuating up and down. Okay, so it takes wisdom in a relationship. It takes wisdom. Don't you understand? Like, I see now, like, people get married and within a year or less, some people just get a divorce. What's going on? They're not tapping into the wisdom of God for their relationship. They don't study the person that they're with. They're in love with the idea of being in love. They're in love with the idea of having a wedding. For people taking pictures and come and say congratulations. But do they have the knowledge of what it takes to actually make that relationship work? Now, if you look back not too far in history, people were getting married and staying married for 50 years, 45 years, and 60 years, and actually still loved each other. So what is different from now to then? Our culture, especially here in the States, in America, has everything is so fast. And it's like, if people don't give you what you want, why are you going to stay there with them? You know, you got a lot of girls in your ear. He ain't doing what you want, girl. He ain't giving you what you want. Get out of there. Run for your life. And you're like, yeah, I don't need that. Or the men talking about, man, I ain't never getting married. I ain't doing that. So you get married and all the self-fulfilling prophecies of what you heard in the barbershop or what your uncle told you or what your friends told you, how when you get married it gets worse. You know, when you was just dating them, you know, she would be more willing to do things with you and yada yada yada. But now that you married, you know, things are not the same. And now it's playing in your mind over and over and over. You're like, man, I just need to get out. I can't live like this. Whereas opposed to, let's sit back and let's examine our situation together. And let's have some family meetings. Let's have some dialogue. You talk, I listen. I talk, you listen. Not we both talk at the same time over each other, trying to argue and fight, and nothing gets accomplished because you're upset. But we're able to talk it through. Talk it through and set some goals for each other. Hey, this is what I would like to see in our marriage. This is what I would like to see in our relationship. Oh, this is what we're doing. This is what you're doing so good already. You know, can you please continue this? You know, I really don't like when we do this, but is it possible we could do this? You know, and just communicate and compromise. For a lot of people, that right there is so difficult because one person is getting upset while the other person's talking. What you talking about? Just emotions all over the place. So it's all me now. It's all me. It's nothing to do with you. And we just missed the point. We're missing how we can come together and not further apart. Right? Study the person that you are with. Right? So that you can operate in wisdom in how to deal with them on a daily basis. Right? Your relationship can be happy and blissful as you choose for it to be. Or it can be as miserable and devastating as you allow it to be. But the choice is always yours. Until next time, this is your man Mike Bowen saying, be blessed.